Hello, my chickadees. Welcome back. Hello, Moa Moa. I see you. But hello, we are starting off a little late today. Yes, we are reading Danmei, but I'm late because I was reading Danmei. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna get ready. While I'm waiting on this to load, I'm going to read a little bit of the one I'm reading, and I got I got carried away. So I could have started like 30, 40 minutes ago, but I got distracted. So it makes sense. You're fine, Grimace. Yep, I see that nickname is sticking. I can't blame you though. I am green. I was gonna say green. Oh my god. No, I am purple. I am a purple boy. But anyway, we left off on the last part. A very, very fun time. Our little fish boy kind of made a fool of the consort. Hang on. Ow! I'm making a weird face. Hang on, you can't see this. I need to turn off that feature. It's always weird. Boop. Hello! Hello. Oh, by the way, happy belated birthday! Thank you! Wait, why did that come back on? Now my fish. Why did it go away? But thank you. I had an awesome birthday last week. I got to spend time with you guys. Why? What is going on? Why did it leave? That is so weird. Why isn't it the words up anymore? Okay, well, I gotta figure out how to fix that. But I had an awesome birthday last week. We had a lovely live stream. There we go. I didn't click that. I wonder why I was like that. But we had a lovely live stream where we just goofed off. I missed the anniversary stream. Oh, my birthday anniversary. We will have a channel anniversary stream in August. So there'll be another landmark stream. I don't know what we're going to do with that one. We might just play some old games or take a look back at some, like, all that we've done in the past couple of years. But it was an awesome birthday stream. Like, everything was breaking on me, but it was fun. The birthday stream is still up. I had thought about archiving it, but for right now it's still up. We played we tried playing Blueprints and my computer was like, "No, I'm not handling this." So we didn't play Blueprints, but we played some Lethal Company, Stardew Valley, which are two games I play a lot in on my own. And then we also played some of Homicipher, which that was a lot of fun. But okay, we are going to dive on in and continue reading The Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish. I love this novel. I hope everybody is enjoying it as well. Okay, hang on. I need to. Da-ba-da. They're gonna come up. No. Okay, there we go. Alright, I got chat up so I can look at it. Alright. And here we go. We are starting off with chapter 11. If you guys haven't seen the other two, I think, streams we did, they are still up on our channel right now. Chapter 11. The fish made a mistake. Li Yu followed Prince Jing and his servants back to Jingtang Hall. He made countless attempts to endear himself to the prince on the way there, but Prince Jing, who had been tapping him on the head back in Quang Palace, didn't react at all. He then tucked away the luminous pearl. Li Yu was a little frustrated. Didn't he at least deserve some credit for inconveniencing noble consort Q? Was it that that hard to let him hold the pearl for a little bit. It wasn't like he was going to monopolize it. He only needed it to complete his quest. After the quest was finished, he'd be done with it. But there was no need to get himself too worked up. Perhaps it was just a coincidence that Prince Jing had taken the pearl. Communication between a fish and a mute prince was too difficult. Li Yu switched tactics and started swimming in circles around the bowl. Perhaps by mimicking the shape of a pearl, he could give Prince Jing a hint, but the prince kept on acting like he couldn't see him. "Little thing, what are you trying to do?" Wang Yi chuckled. Wang Gonggong had resolved to take good care of this fish from now on. Though it was just an ordinary edible carp, this little creature had brought Prince Jing some substantial amount of good luck. It had splashed the prince with water, but that had allowed him to discover the bruise from Piexu, which in turn was what helped him get one over on the noble consort. What are words? I'm struggling. Wang Yi had looked down on Jian Linzi for calling the cat Master Cat, but now he was all too eager to eat his words and call the fish Master too. Li Yu stiffened at Wang Yi's question. How could he make these people understand that all he wanted was the pearl? He didn't want anything else. Should he swim in the shape of the word pearl? No, probably not. If he really did manage to write something, he might scare Wang Yi witless. Worse yet, what if Wang Yi mistook him for a fish spirit? Cultivation had been banned ever since the founding of the PRC. May the heavens have mercy. He was just an innocent transmigrated fish. He better come up with something else. Wang Yi carried the large bowl to the room that the little carp had been in before. Li Yu watched as the prince moved further and further away. Hey! Wasn't he supposed to live with the tyrant? But after thinking about it some more, Li Yu realized he hadn't actually seen a bed or anything to sleep on. The prince had only entered that room to change. It obviously wasn't his bedroom. In ancient times, a concubine's favor with the emperor could apparently be determined by how far away she lived from him. It was probably the same for pets. But a pet that didn't live with its owner practically wasn't a pet at all. Li Yu could see it now. He was going to fail all of his quest. But there was only one way that led. Fish bones and fish ash. He couldn't be separated from Prince Jing. Li Yu had been looking kinda wilted, but now he is full of energy again. Living was way more important than some shiny bright pearl. He still had to get along with Prince Jing. Since Wang Yi had asked him what he wanted, Li Yu was gonna show him. He bravely poked his head out of the water to look in Prince Jing's direction, his gaze bright and gleaming. Wang Yi was so happy he couldn't close his mouth. Oh, this little thing can't bear to part from His Highness. He wants to stay with him. Li Yu was incredibly flustered at being called little thing again, but desperate times called for desperate measures. He blew a bubble. That's somewhat difficult, little thing. Wang Yi must have been in a surprisingly good mood, because he actually gave the fish an explanation. His Highness doesn't like others in his room. Li Yu was baffled. This was the first time Li Yu had heard of his tyrant owner having a pet peeve like that. This bit of characterization probably wasn't in the book. The prince in the book was just made up of rows of cold and lifeless text, but the Prince Jing before him was an actual living, breathing person. And Li Yu knew that people were multifaceted and much more complicated than words on a page could describe. Li Yu could accept this new information. Prince Jing didn't like others entering his room, fair enough, but he wasn't just anyone. He was his pet fish. Li Yu continued wagging his tail at Wang Yi. He really wanted to go. Hello, Jonathan Dostar. Welcome in. How are you? Today we're reading some of Disabled Tyrant's beloved pet fish. It's like a comedy transmigration Danmei. We're reading what? um, the disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. The main character is Li Yu, who got transmigrated into this book, but he's a fish. And his goal is to become, a beloved pet for the tyrant, which is the main character of this book. And he is trying his darndest. The tyrant is mute, and of course, fish can't talk, so they can't communicate with one another, but he is trying his hardest. Immaculate. Alright, Li Yu had just had a side quest to obtain the luminous pearl, and he was very close to getting it. Like, he was flopping out over the floor after it and everything, but he got picked up and put back in his fishbowl, and the pearl was given to the prince, who, instead of giving it to the fish, put it in his sleeve. So he's like, dang it! I was so close to the pearl, but I can't have the pearl. Is it BL again? Yes, this is a BL. Danmei means BL, a Chinese boys' love themed novel. But there isn't really much BL going on right now because we are in the first book. But it is funny. It is funny. Li Yu, he's quite interesting to listen to. He freaks out a lot. Because he's a fish. Yes, he's a fish. He's a little tiny carp. As the books go on, he does like alter in appearance and size as he's completing quests, which is really interesting. Right now he's a tiny little palm-sized carp, and he's I think he's like a dark gray color. So he's a tiny little fishy. Sounds fun. It is. I hope you're having a good day. I think I already asked that. My brain is fried with thoughts of fish. Okay. Wang Yi couldn't help smiling. Sometimes he felt like this little carp was very intelligent and a bit clingy. Who didn't like a clingy pet? He wanted to help the little carp. He liked fish. Fish were quiet. They didn't get in the way no matter where you put them. They were more or less a decorative piece. But it turned out he didn't need to convince Prince Jing, for the prince had already taken the bowl from him, a dark expression on his face. I have an exam tomorrow, but I prefer this over studying. That is a mood. That is a mood. We'll probably read for about an hour or so. So yeah, take a little break. Take a little break to let your brain recharge for a minute. Wang Gonggong was getting the sense that the prince wasn't in the greatest of moods. Not for the first time, he found himself thinking that he really couldn't understand Prince Jing. Prince Jing carried the little carp to the forbidden bedroom where no outsiders were permitted to enter. He had given the fish the cold shoulder all the way back from Qin Kuang Palace, but now it dared wag its tail at Wang Yi? Prince Jing hadn't been standing too far away when the fish was playing with Wang Yi. His gaze as he watched them could have frozen the entire room. It was a very particular feeling, like when he was young and Mu Tanzao had stolen something that belonged to him. It had made him very unhappy, and only seizing it back had made him feel a little better. Oh, he was jealous. He was jealous his fish was playing with Wang Yi instead of him. He already said so in front of the emperor. The fish was now his. He should be the one to decide where it lived. He didn't need anyone else to intervene. Accordingly, he took the fish away to his room and told no one to bother him. Wang Yi would never be able to imagine the inner workings of Prince Jing's mind. In order to please his master, Wang Gonggong hastily ordered some servants to bring over the porcelain fish tank from the first room. He was worried about Prince Jing's lack of pet fish knowledge, too, so he summoned a few servants who had experience in taking care of fish, cats, and dogs, just in case. After everything was settled and he had been moved back into his porcelain fish tank, Li Yu did a lap around the tank. Someone had already changed the water, and the leaf blanket and bed of white rocks were still waiting for him, untouched. That was truly the best place. So much nicer to swimming here than in the bowl. Somehow, he realized, he had gotten used to thinking about things from a fish's perspective. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was it good or bad thing that he adapted to all this quickly? After dawdling for a while and making sure nobody was paying attention to him, he ducked under the leaf blanket, pretending to rest, and entered the system. He does have a system, like some transmigration stories have a system to kind of like help the person around, kind of like Scum Villain self-saving system. So he does have a system. The last time Li Yu had done this, he had been bursting with joy, excited to receive his prize. It was a very different story this time around. He was deflated and gloomy. He had made little to no progress in either the main or side quest. This fish scamming system greeted him as usual, but didn't provide him with any extra hints. Half of the allotted time for the getting along step in the priceless pet fish quest had already slipped by. Seeing the Emperor hadn't helped him make any progress either. It was obvious he had to work a little harder. It was a shame he couldn't complete Clear Bright Pearl. Maybe he should give it another try? If it was just within reach. Either way, Liu thought, he was already in Prince Jing's room. He was supposed to be his pet. He needed to have a little less shame about it. It wouldn't be all that weird for him to wiggle his way into his owner's clothes and just so happen to accidentally pull out a pearl or something, right? Time was of the essence. Resolving to leave his shame behind, Li Yu exited the system. He's got to leave his shame behind and try to get in his owner's clothes to hunt for the pearl, because it's in his sleeve. While he was inside the system, he couldn't tell what was happening in the outside world. Now that he was out again, he shook himself and came to an abrupt realization that he was lying in the tyrant's hand? Li Yu nearly jumped out of his skin. Prince Jing cupped his hands, holding the fish so that it was still surrounded by water. He had never observed the fish up close before. As soon as the little carp settled down, he couldn't resist taking a look. It was a strange fish, he thought, but it was also intriguing. When he first picked the fish up, he noticed it was completely stiff, unmoving. His brow twitched, and he immediately called over a servant who had raised fish before. After examining the fish for a few moments, they concluded it was likely asleep. Prince Jing then called over another servant for a second opinion, and this one said the exact same thing. After roughly 10 minutes, Prince Jing dismissed all of them and continued staring at the fish alone. If it was asleep, then it would eventually wake up. He wanted to see what other tricks this fish had up its sleeve. The little carp didn't sleep for long. Prince Jing was so close that he saw the fish's tail twitch a little. Then, without warning, the fish jolted forward, nearly falling over in the water. Not for the first time, Prince Jing thought that the fish had the same dazed look of a person who just woken up. But as soon as the fish saw him, it seemed sluggish. Prince Jing was slightly annoyed and tapped the little carp's head. Why had it been so lively in front of Wang Yi, but seemed wooden and slow with him? The tap made Li Yu shake his head, remembering the task at hand. He started to wiggle his tail in an attempt to wheedle his way into the prince's favor. Ever since he had become a pet fish, swishing his tail and begging for pity was the only other survival skill he had outside of swimming. Except his owner didn't appreciate it. Prince Jing scoffed, his expression cold. Trying to kiss up to him now. Too late. His palm was only so big, and it was impossible for the fish to keep wiggling like this without touching his hand. The feeling of the fish tail against his palm was a little odd, but Prince Jing refused to let it show. Li Yu took no notice. He was still trying to act cute, but his eyes kept trailing over to Prince Jing's clothing. The prince had put the luminous pearl in his sleeve, he remembered. If he could sneak into the prince's sleeve... Wait, he was in the prince's hand right now. He could pretend fish were very slippery. Oh, he's got a thought. He's got a thought. Li Yu swam to the edge of the prince's palm, deliberately slowly. He just needed to turn his body and flip over. But while he managed to do exactly that, as soon as his body left the confines of the palm, Prince Jing caught him with his other hand and put him back. Li Yu was stunned. I'll flip again! Again! He tried twisting from the other side. Prince Jing was faster. With his hands carefully cupped, he was able to hold him completely. Li Yu was pissed. His plans are not planning. Well, yeah, they're not working. I don't know what plan. I don't know. Hey, kitty, you want to come join us? Hello. Okay, Draco's coming to join us today. You can't have the fishy, though. You can't have the fishy, okay? The fishy's off limits. Prince Jing peered down at him. He almost looked like he was smiling. Was he doing it on purpose? Did he hide the pearl just to toy with him? Li Yu's mind spun, he thought smugly. Then how about this? Okay, you making it? Okay, you settle down, kitty. He didn't fight against the prince. Instead, following the line down Prince Jing's palm and arm, Li Yu slid down. Prince Jing froze. At first, he thought the fish had been making a break for it. He absolutely did not expect it to try to wriggle into his sleeve. Aided by the water in Prince Jing's hand, the little fish slid down his arm, managing to slip right into his sleeve in the blink of an eye. Prince Jing, normally as sturdy as an ice-capped mountain, felt goosebumps erupting all over his skin. He furrowed his brows tightly. Meanwhile, Li Yu, who had successfully managed to infiltrate enemy territory, found himself stuck to a large patch of muscle. What was this feeling? Did Prince Jing not wear an inner robe? Li Yu lay against this unknown muscle, his face blazing. In the original world, he was but an innocent boy who had been single his entire life. Now that he transmigrated into a book, he was suddenly touching skin to skin with another man. He was so embarrassed. Li Yu was so flustered he wanted to cover his face with his fins, but they were too short. With no other way to unleash his emotions, he resorted to fiercely flapping his tail instead. Prince Jing, who had been bearing with all these bizarre sensations, felt something scratching at him nonstop. Bro, I know, right? Oh, this part is so freaking funny. How could anyone put up with that? Prince Jing was about to break out in a cold sweat. He quickly untied his clothes, wanting to pull the troublesome fish out. See what I mean? Li Yu. He gets in such weird places. He's against this guy's arm at the moment because he's trying to dive down in his sleeve to get where he put the pearl. And now he's flipping out. He's like, oh no, I'm touching another man's skin. Inside his sleeve, Li Yu was getting more and more annoyed. The sleeve was narrow and dark. If he moved around, he would slide further down, unable to stop. If he opened his eyes, the fabric would stab into them. Filled with regret over his impulsive decision, Li Yu was desperate to leave. In a fit of distress, he thrashed around even more wildly. but his struggling only increased Prince Jing's discomfort. As he flailed around, though, Li Yu spotted a faint glow. Dizzily, he wondered why there would be light in Prince Jing's clothes. Could it be? By the way, were you talking with your cat? Yeah, my kitty came in here. He's now like leaned up against my shoulder like he always does. He's a good boy. This is Draco. I've got 3 kitties right now, but Draco always comes in here and cuddles while I'm recording. Pet him for me too. Okay, Draco's getting pets right now. And he's purring. He's happy. He appreciates the pets. Could it be? The clear, bright pearl? How sneaky. Prince Jing may have stuffed the pearl deep into his sleeves, but he couldn't fool Li Yu. Victory was just one step away. He could do it! Li Yu fought hard to move towards the light. There we go. He'd come this far already. Nothing could stop him now. No matter what, he had to touch it first. As he shuffled closer to the light, he thought he could see a hazy round thing. Oh, pearls were round! Li Yu opened his mouth wide and went for it. The moment his fish jaws closed around the round thing, Li Yu was overcome with emotion. Terrified the pearl might roll away from him, he clamped down hard. Li Yu felt Prince Jing flinch violently. The next moment his dark surroundings brightened. All the clothing that had been in the way was now gone, and he could see Prince Jing, his upper half completely bare, with a rare hint of pink on his cheeks. He scowled down at Li Yu, irate. With the luminous pearl in his mouth, the little carp couldn't blow bubbles, so he opted to wave his tail happily at his owner instead, which was when he realized he was lying entirely on the prince's chest. Hold on. How did he get from the sleeve to here? Keeping his death grip on the pearl, Li Yu scoured his surroundings. All he could see was a landscape of pale skin, especially here where the pearl was. He could feel the prince's pulse within his chest. Wait. Li Yu finally noticed something was wrong. Did Prince Jing hang the pearl around his neck? It was the noble consort's pearl. Did he have to go so far? The make and the model of the pearl was not quite right either. The texture felt a little soft. Li Yu arrived at a horrifying conclusion. Trembling, he opened his mouth and reluctantly looked at the luminous pearl he had just held within his mouth. That wasn't a pearl. Not at all. That was the thing used to differentiate between the front and the back of a man. The fish suffered a devastating blow. The little carp collapsed, drooping down from Prince's chest, but Prince Jing, with his lightning-flash reflexes, manages to catch him. He was latched on to the prince's nipple, okay? He thought the nipple was the pearl. No wonder the prince is like flushed. She's like, what the hell, fish? Greatest stream. Thank you. Okay. You gonna go find a sleepy spot now, Dre? Okay, Draco moved to the table nearby and he's looking at me very sleepily, so I think he's gonna go find a spot to curl up and take a nap. Yeah. Gonna go take a nap. Okay. Just then, Wang Yi pushed open the door. He had wanted to ask Prince Jing a question, but he had waited some time and the prince never came out of his room. Left without another choice, Wang Yi came in to take a look, only to be faced with Prince Jing in a state of undress, face flushed pink and fish in hand. Wang Yi was shocked. Who knew what Wang Gong, experienced and knowledgeable in all his worldly wisdom, was thinking about when he came upon the scene? He was so aghast, his voice even changed. Your Highness, you can't. The fish is too small. It won't be able to take it. This entire day had just been a never-ending stream of embarrassments. God, please let this fish die. So, I think Wang Gong Gong thought that he was gonna use the fish as like a fleshlight. Oh, misunderstandings. Oh, I thought there was a picture. There's not a picture. Okay. I thought there was. Oh my god. Bro, I was gone for 2 seconds. What's the fish even gonna take? I so thought there was a picture there, but there's not. Oh, but I think when Gong Gong seeing him like with his robe undone, because he had to open his robe because a fish was clamped to his nipple. He had to like open the robe to get the fish off, but the fish fell and he caught it. Wang Gong Gong is thinking he wants to pleasure himself with the fish. Use him as a little flashlight. Oh my god. The misunderstanding is so funny. Oh god. Oh, thank god. Oh. It's so funny. This makes like the 3rd or 4th time I've read the first volume, and I always still laugh. I freaking love it. Okay. Chapter 12. The fish wants to apologize. Li Yu knew he had screwed up big time. There was no question about it. Prince Jing must be furious. Not only had Li Yu splashed water on him and caused a huge ruckus in Kuang Palace when Prince Jing wasn't there, now Li Yu had gone and felt him up too. Li Yu's ancestors must be protecting him. It was the only way he could explain why the prince hadn't killed him then and there. I now proceed to pleasure myself with this fish. Yeah, Wang Gong Gong was like, no, the fish is too tiny. He can't. Which, wasn't what was happening at all, but it's even more hilarious. The prince gotta be so freaking embarrassed right now. I bet he's having fun trying to explain that to Wang Gong Gong. He couldn't remember how he went from Prince Jing's hand back to his fish tank. Nor could he recall swimming back to his bed of white rocks. Normally fish fell asleep in the blink of an eye, but Li Yu had spent half the night tossing and turning and hadn't slept a wink. But the moonlight outside the window shone into the porcelain fish tank, making the bottom of the water sparkle and shine. Li Yu felt his mood lift a little at the sight. Thinking about what he had gone through, he felt even more humiliated. No matter how shameless he was, that was it for him. There was no way he was going to attempt to complete Clear Bright Pearl again. He should just give up on the side quest and focus on the main quest. He was sure there'd be other opportunities for him to transform back into a human in the future. Having finally convinced himself, he decided to put all his energy into figuring out how to get along with Prince Jing. But this whole mess had scared him pretty badly. Whenever he saw Prince Jing, he felt uncomfortable all over, as though he could still feel the softness in his mouth. His fishtail felt like it was being roasted over an open fire, the heat spreading quickly through his entire body. How could he be so foolish as to confuse a pearl with that? He's so embarrassed. Li Yu buried his head under his leaf blanket with a huff. If he was this miserable, Prince Jing probably wasn't much better. Li Yu knew that if he was in Prince Jing's royal shoes and had been bitten there by a fish, he'd never hear the end of it as long as he lived. And he just had to do that. And he just had to do this to himself right after he insisted on staying in Prince Jing's room. They couldn't get away from each other anymore. There was nowhere for him to find an antidote for his regret. Without meaning to, Li Yu started avoiding Prince Jing. When the prince passed by, Li Yu either had his tail turned to him or he was hiding motionlessly under his blanket, pretending to be asleep. He only acted cute for food when Wang Yi came to see him. Wang Yi would feed him a plethora of red-colored food, but for some reason his gaze would always be tinged with pity. He would whisper, "Little thing, you've suffered a lot. Eat more and grow fat." But it was dangerous for a fish to fatten up. The little carp started to grow wary. Did Prince Jing want to turn him into fish soup? Thank goodness Wang Yi still used a ruri, which, let's see what this means. It's a decorative Chinese scepter. Its name means as you desire and is a symbol of good fortune. So it's like a little like metal stick, pretty much. It's a little tiny scepter. Kind of like how people have like decorative like little swords, kind of like letter opener size. That's what I'm picturing. It's a little tiny scepter. Chapter 33, Fishy Suck. Yes. You saw that, did you? Absolute fucking cinema. Yes, you see that. Fishy Suck. What to look forward to. Oh, there is some very good chapter names, okay? Very good chapter names. To nudge him into swimming a few laps after each meal. At first, Li Yu didn't understand why he did it, but he soon learned from Wang Gonggong's chatter the fish weren't supposed to eat too much, and he was pushing Li Yu to swim around so he could digest better. Perhaps it was because he had followed the taciturn Prince Jing for many years, but Wang Yi never seemed to run out of things to say. When he stood before his master, Wang Yi had to carefully consider his words before he spoke, but he had no such qualms when it came to the little carp. The image of a hand came to mind, making Li Yu pause. His fingers were pinched together, gently pushing him to swim around. He gorged himself back then, too. So Prince Jing had been helping him digest that time. But because he couldn't speak, and because of his personality, Prince Jing didn't reveal it to anyone. As grateful as Li Yu felt, his guilt just continued to grow. He knew Prince Jing was good to him, and yet he had taken advantage of him. It had been a misunderstanding, an accident, but he knew he was still at fault. A bit wrung out, the little carp wondered if he and Prince Jing would be able to go back to how they were before. Was he going to have to continue avoiding the prince? Never complete his quest and eventually turn into fish bones and fish ash? Yeah, if he doesn't complete his quest, he's going to die. Li Yu couldn't accept his life ending for such an outrageous reason. He needed to pull himself together. He wanted to complete his task happily with Prince Jing and not have to hide whenever he heard the prince's footsteps. He should try to apologize. Misunderstanding or not, he was still the one in the wrong. As long as he apologized, even if an apology from a fish meant nothing to a prince, he could at least turn over a new page and face Prince Jing like normal. But the problem was, how was he gonna do it? Good question. How is a little fishy going to, show that his apology to the prince? Alrighty. Hang on, I was checking on something real quick. He had already spun in circles and danced the seaweed dance plenty of times, so those wouldn't be worth anything. He couldn't write, leaving him no way for him to communicate in a human language. He couldn't even prepare a proper gift. The porcelain fish tank he lived in, the bed, the blanket, none of those belonged to him. How could he show he was truly sorry? Liu swam a lap in the tank, troubled. Then his gaze fell upon a lone fish of fish food. It was a chunk of fish food Wang Yi had thrown to him not long ago. But Li Yu hadn't touched it because he didn't have much of an appetite. But since it was given to him, it now belonged to him. He could give this to Prince Jing to demonstrate his sincerity. Li Yu picked up the food and hid it, worried it might not be enough. He hid a couple more, until he had 6 pieces, an auspicious number. Prince Jing was rarely in his room during the day. He usually only came by at night. Once night fell and the lamps had been lit, Li Yu figured it was about time. He picked out the pieces of fish food and laid them out carefully, happiness expanding his chest as he waited for Prince Jing to return. So what if I bit my owner there? I'm just a fish. You can forgive me, right? Tonight, however, unbeknownst to Li Yu, Prince Jing had something to take care of and had returned to his manor outside of the palace. Li Yu waited until he couldn't stay up any longer, but Prince Jing never came back that night. Aw, he was so proud. He had the little fish, he saved his food, he had it all laid out in a line. He's like, I'm going to give him food to show that I'm a good fishy. And he didn't come back. Aw. Prince Jing hurried back to Jingtang Hall bright and early the next day, the morning dew clinging to the bottom of his boots. Wang Yi led a group of servants to help him change. At the first opportunity, Prince Jing shot a glance at the porcelain fish tank. Ever since the little carp bit him, Prince Jing felt like the little fish had been listless. Moreover, this listlessness was directed at him, personally, and no one else. The fish would swish its tail when Wang Yi was over there, but as soon as Prince Jing walked over, the only thing he see was a clump of water plants. Prince Jing was a little irritated. Wasn't he the one who had been bitten? How dare this fish ignore him when he hadn't even done anything yet? Prince Jing wasn't a very laid-back person. He couldn't stop thinking about it. He needed to set things straight between him and the fish and establish some rules. While he wouldn't be so cruel as to deprive his own fish of food and water, Prince Jing wanted the fish to suffer a little hardship, so it think twice about getting too rowdy and making more trouble for him. He'd already written the rules down one by one, and all that was left to do was to have Wang Yi implement them. One of them was that he was going to seal the pearl from Quang Palace in a clear jar, then put the jar in the fish tank. Prince Jing knew how badly the little carp wanted the pearl, but he wasn't going to just hand it over. Making it look at what it couldn't touch would build character. That way, it would come to understand that one couldn't have everything in life one wanted. Your Highness, do you think this little thing will understand what you mean by this? Wang Yi really wanted to tell the prince that this little thing was just a fish. A fish definitely wouldn't be able to understand such profound principles. Unfortunately, he didn't have any power to talk Prince Jing out of it. Prince Jing was adamant. He nodded solemnly. It must be done. Wang Yi sighed. He couldn't go against his master's wishes. He went to prepare. After changing, Prince Jing strolled into the fish tank. The little carp wasn't hiding anymore, nor was it on its white stone bed. Instead, it had fallen asleep in front of a neat line of fish food. For a moment, he thought someone was abusing the fish to the point that it was starting to store food. The little carp woke up soon after. He peered around and noticed the fish food had remained untouched. He looked up, and when he met Prince Jing's eyes, he started to spin happily in circles. No, Li Liu shook his head. He almost forgot himself and started to dance the seaweed dance. Liu tried his best to lower his head in the water. His fins were too short for him to collapse his hands in front of him to bow, so he gave up on the gesture and instead brought each piece of food before Prince Jing, lowering his head again each time. Prince Jing wasn't sure how to react. Wang Yi was shocked. Your Highness, what is this little thing doing? Prince Jing looked up from the roll of food to the little carp's constant bobbling head. He watched it for a while, thinking, was the little carp asking for forgiveness? Trying to kiss up to him or something else? Regardless of the reason, the fish seemed to want him to eat. But humans couldn't eat fish food, obviously. The corner of Prince Jing's lips twitched at the fish's absurd ideas. Seeing that the prince was deep in thought, Wang Yi didn't dare make a sound. But the servant Wang Yi had sent off before carrying out the prince's orders had returned, so Wang Yi timidly interrupted. Your Highness, the luminous pearl has been put in the bottle at your request. Wang Yi had to call out to the prince several times before the prince pulled himself out of his reverie. In Wang Yi's hand was a little bottle with the luminous pearl. Originally, Prince Jing had signaled to Wang Yi that he would punish the little carp by placing the pearl, trapped inside the bottle, into the fish tank himself. The bottle was very secure, and the opening had been sealed with wax. There was no way the fish would be able to open it. But, at the sight of the fish blowing bubbles at him, Prince Jing hesitated. He stopped Wang Yi. Wang Yi didn't understand what was happening, but Prince Jing had already grabbed the little bottle from him. The bottle, clutched in his hand, hovered just above the fish tank. The luminous pearl's glow was dazzling. Even from inside the bottle, its glimmer filled up the whole fish tank, and Liu's attention was drawn to it instantly. There was no doubt that it was the clear, bright pearl he had been yearning for. Was he dreaming? What was going on? He'd completely given up on this side quest, but now the prince was bringing out the pearl? Liu was haunted by the memory of what had happened the last time he was too impulsive, and he didn't dare make any sudden movements. He sat obediently in his tank, his tail quivering in anticipation. What was the prince doing? It couldn't be that he was what he was thinking of, right? The youth standing before the tank silently opened the bottle and dumped the pearl straight into the tank. One couldn't have everything they wanted in life, but as long as someone held him sincerely in his heart, he would take care of them, even if it was just a fish. Liu watched the luminous pearl fall in slow motion, like a dazzling meteor shooting by. He let out a cheer, his tail flinging him high into the air, and caught the pearl. He got the pearl! Oh, I like that line. He said, one couldn't have everything they wanted in life, but as long as someone held him sincerely in their heart, he would take care of them, even if it was just a fish. So he did see that the little fish was trying to feed him, and so he was like, the fish is thinking of me, and I'm trying to punish it. Oh well, my cute baby fish can have the pearl that I was going to just make it so he could see it, not touch it. Yay! He got the fish. He got the pearl. Chapter 13 is called The Fish Wants to Fight for Love. We had been reading 5 chapters per live stream, but I think I'm actually going to stop here because my throat is starting to hurt a little bit. Yippee! Yes. Oh, I love it. I love these 2 little ding-dongs. Yippee! I don't know when we'll read more. We might play a game next week instead, but we are going to read more of this in the future. I'm just having fun sharing one of my favorite Danmeis with everybody. So, I'm hoping this was a nice little break for you, Jonathan. from your studying. We normally do like a 2-hour stream, but yeah, my throat's starting to like murder me. It was great, yeah. We did read some of like the best moment. Oh, he was looking for the pearl, but he latched onto his nipple instead. That is still like the most hilarious thing ever. I'm sorry. Uh. Oh, let's go back to the Yay! There's the front or the oh my god, the title page. The cover, that's the word. See, our boy doesn't look like this yet. So I love the artwork for this book. It's so amazing. Like all the extras they gave us for book 4, the special edition, was amazing too. I just have beef with this fish. Like, why on the first book didn't you make it look like what he looked like in the first book? Because he's gray and he's nowhere near this big. He's a little palm-sized fish. He grows a little bit, but he doesn't look anything like this. He's a gray boy. He's a little gray boy. And there should be... Oh, yeah. A wider picture of it here. So pretty. So pretty. Prince Jing is a pretty boy, too. Do you ever think God's look down and think what I've created because of stories like this? Probably. The illustrations are nice. Yeah, they're so pretty. The illustrations on the other 3 books are awesome too. There's actually 4 books total in the series. Every time I got a new book, I would reread the previous book. So I'd read volume 1, and then I got volume 2, and then I'd reread volume 1 to read volume 2. And now I need to reread them to read 3 and 4 because I got distracted and I really want to finish 3 and 4. So I have all the books, like physically, and all the special editions and everything. I love this. Hello, Clumsy Neko! Haro, hello! The illustrations are so nice. They really are. All the artwork is really cool. The funny thing is, in the special edition of the 4th one, there's a bookmark. The bookmark has him, I guess maybe spoilers, I don't know, but it has him looking like a mermaid on one side, and then on the other side it's a reverse mermaid, and I swear it's one of the funniest things ever. Reverse mermaid is when you have the head of a fish and a lower body of a human. It's so funny. But hello, Clumsy. How are you doing today? That's vile. It's so funny though. I think there's even like a little like shine on the booty. So, uh, one day I need to just take a picture of all my Danmei and share with you guys. You know how people do hand stream, like VTubers do like hand streams where they have like gloves on and like show you like cook or whatever for you. Yeah, it'll be that, but me just going through my Danmei. Be like, okay, this book, because I have quite a bit physical Danmei. I don't have all of them, but I have quite a few physical Danmei, and I love all the special editions that come with them. Bookmarks, posters, it's all fun. That's what my room looks like. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream for today because my throat is not enjoying me. This is what I get for having a stream without actually having tea. Normally I have a cup of tea. But I hope this was a nice little break for you, Jonathan. Good luck with your exam. And I hope you have a good day today, Clumsy. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know when we'll continue this, but we will in the future. So look out for the notifications. Thank you for the stream. Thank you. I'm glad you came. And I'll see you guys next time.